There are a lot of gun supporters. There are a lot of people that believe in the Second Amendment. There are a lot of people that don't want to see the amendment change, the right to bear arms. I don't want to see the amendment change either. I'm here to show you why the world around us, the happenings that are happening, may be forcing us to be a little more open-minded to that change. How many of you are just like me? Grew up a hunting enthusiast, grew up around guns, own a gun, or maybe know someone that owns a gun, or know someone that's part of the NRA, the National Rifle Association. There's a lot of us. There's a lot of us that live in the state that supports guns for recreation. It's the norm. Or have guns and hunting as part of a state economy. We have schools that close the opening day of hunting season, that observe them like a holiday. How many of you have seen this statement or know where it comes from? It's not just about guns, it's about freedom. Where does that come from? That comes from the front page of the NRA's website, published right on the front. And I want to tell you what I feel that means. I believe that that's their interpretation of the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment that reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of state and the right for the people to keep and bear arms and shall not be infringed. And this was wrote in 1787. Now, how many of us were around in 1787? Matter of fact, how many of us are 18 and younger today? Or maybe have children that are 18 or younger, or loved ones that are 18 and younger? I know I do. I have 4 children of my own. I'm very active in their lives. I'm a coach, I'm a friend. I treat their classmates and their friends with respect and love them like my own. How many of you have seen this picture? How many of you know where this comes from? This is the White House lawn. Those 7,000 shoes represent the number of children that were killed from gun violence since Sandy Hook in 2012. Now I'd like you to picture these children running, skipping, jumping, the actual children. And now they're all gone. It's quiet, it's eerie. There's nothing left but their shoes because of guns. Now I'm a gun enthusiast. I'm open-minded. I'm saying let's not dig in our heels and say I'm not for gun control, but let's dig in our heels and say let's do what's right together. Let's vote for gun control. Now I bring solutions. I want to try to find solutions that make sense. I don't want to take away our freedom. Did you know that you cannot buy a handgun until you're 21 years old? At 18, you can't buy a handgun. But when you're old enough to drink, they'll give you a handgun. Now, I'm not sure if that's right, but that's a whole nother discussion. But at 18 years old, you can buy a machine gun. You can walk right in, buy an AR, an assault rifle, right over the counter. Now, I'm not saying let's take away our freedom. I'm saying let's make changes that make sense. Let's support and control the limits to people that shouldn't receive these guns. Let's do background checks. Let's focus on the high risk group, the mentally ill, the people that are in violent domestic crimes, the people that have violent misdemeanors, the people that have restraining orders put against them. Let's land on a common set of laws. Let's decide as a federal government to make laws that make our children safe. Let's not leave it to a state representative to decide if my children is going to be safe or not. Let's tell them this is the law and you will abide and they will be safe. Speaking of safe, Dan Gross, who's a gun control activist and a popularity on TED Talks, did a speech on gun control. He said that 90 Americans are killed by guns every day. He said that 9 people every day are shot on accident. 900 children and teens take their lives every year, with most all of them using their parents' guns. Now, corporate lobbyists spend millions of dollars to not have certain things happen, to not allow us to try to save 900 lives. Do you think it's a coincidence that we can put a man on the moon or that we can have a car drive by itself, but we can't come up with smart gun technology. We can't have a gun that only fires for its owner. Do you think that's a coincidence? Do you think it's a coincidence that we know there's a public epidemic happening, but we won't allow our schools or our pediatricians to speak to adults or to speak to kids about this issue? The kids that they're taking care of day in and day out? Do you think it's a coincidence that we have viruses that kill less people than gun control, but we spend millions of dollars on research to figure out how to cure these viruses? Wouldn't it be nice to have millions of dollars to have the CDC do research and come up with solutions to try to tackle this epidemic, these happenings around us? These aren't coincidences. These are billions of dollars spent to block us from these things happening in our lives. And we need to stop that. I'll leave you with this. I'm not saying let's do away with our Second Amendment. I'm not saying let's take our freedom away to bear arms. What I'm saying is let's vote for gun control. Let's vote to make some changes and do some things that are right. My dream is that someday the NRA's website says this: it's not just about guns, it's about freedom. The right to feel safe, protect our children, and support our lives. Thank you.